Hey everyone, how's it going? Why don't we get right into it? What is flow? Flow is also known as being in the zone. You might have experienced this while you were practicing, that one practice session where it was actually fun. You might have also experienced this while you're performing at your best. Everything came out exactly as you wanted, and it felt like you, your instrument, and the music just were one. When you're in flow or in the zone, time just passes right on by. You lose sense of yourself and your body, and you become so invested in what you were doing that you don't even notice. When you finally come out of that zone, it feels awesome. It feels like you accomplished something you didn't think you were able to accomplish, and now you rule the world. What can we do to get into the zone anytime that we want? First, we need a challenge that matches your skill level. If your challenge is too easy and you have too much skill, you're going to end up being bored. It's because it's too easy and you're not going to be interested. Likewise, if your challenge is really hard and you don't quite have enough skill to get there just yet, you're going to feel anxious and frustrated and might even give up. It's because it's too hard. So in order to get into the zone, you have to find a challenge that matches the amount of skill that you have. Next, you're going to need something like a goal, something to aim for. Now your goal might be to perform a piece in front of an audience with absolute security, ease, and freedom. Of course, you can't expect yourself to be at performance level with a completely new piece. Your next step is going to have to make smaller goals in order to get you up to that final product. An example of that would be actually starting to learn the notes. You can't play the piece if you don't know the notes yet, right? The next two things are what's going to make or break you actually getting into the zone. The first one is feedback, and the second one is how involved you are with your task. To get into the zone, you're going to need some form of clear feedback to let yourself know whether you are on the right track or not. If you're learning a piece, that feedback might be whether or not you're playing the right rhythms or the right notes. If you're performing, that feedback might be whether or not what you are actually producing is truly what you want to hear. To be involved, at least in the moment, means that you have to mentally stay with your task. You always want to be interpreting that feedback. You aren't involved if you're worrying about trying to impress someone or thinking about whether or not you're going to be making a mistake on stage. Because you know what? You and I both know that when you're performing, your goal isn't to worry about anything, but to try to execute everything that you've practiced for. Once you've completed a task like that, hopefully you will impress someone. So once you are fully focused on your challenge, you will start to enter flow. But let's say that you are in flow now. How do you stay in it, especially if you are practicing? Well, when you practice, your skill level is ever increasing. So in order to stay in flow, the complexity of your challenge needs to also increase in order to match up with your skill level. You can increase the complexity of your task by maybe speeding up the tempo or working on tone production. So if one wants to get into the zone in order to make their practice even more enjoyable or to perform their best on stage, you're going to need three things. The first thing is going to be a challenge that matches your skill level. The second thing will be feedback. And lastly, you're going to have to focus and be invested in the task at hand. So I'd like to know how often you've ever been in flow, whether you were practicing or performing, and have you ever experienced flow outside of music? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you like videos like these, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching! Actually a positive thing was something that I stumbled across on a TED video about 8 months ago, and it totally changed my approach to performance anxiety and how I handle my nerves.